We're definitely starting to see the early onset now of a secret ingredient in sports, or the awareness of this ingredient in sports when it comes to winning championships or playoff rounds, or really just finding success at any level. And that secret ingredient is really the creation of a team identity, a team culture, through a team bond. And, tactics and talent are always going to be important. It's not something you can negate. What my philosophy is that a lot of organizational leaders and coaches focus only on tactics and talent, almost 50-50. And they're not leaving enough leeway to create and maintain that bond and to develop that identity. All you have to do right now is look at the NHL playoffs, which just ended the first round. And the teams that advanced, this is the first time in NHL history that no number one seed has advanced past the first round. And the teams that have beaten these teams and the other teams in the playoffs have really shown to have a story behind what it is that they're doing. The best example probably is the Carolina Hurricanes right now, who halfway through the season were struggling to find a playoff spot, and they were doing something after each game that's more like a European soccer thing, but they were celebrating with their fans by doing something called the Storm Surge, where they had something creative where they shared it with their fans every game. And they were called by a very prominent person in the media a bunch of jerks. All right. And they embraced this. They embraced that title, and the fan base embraced it. And it became their identity for the season, of almost an underdog mentality. And it drove them past the Washington Capitals, who won last year's Stanley Cup, all the way to the second round. Extremely improbable for those of you who don't watch hockey. But they have embraced this culture. They've embraced this team bond, and it is spurring them to do amazing things. Probably the best example in the NHL of a team who does not have their identity right now is the Philadelphia Flyers, a team that for decades, had the identity of the Broad Street Bullies, this toughness era in hockey. And they embraced it for a long time. But their owner died, Ed Schneider, just a few years back. And it seems like since his death, the team has struggled to really find what kind of identity they're going to have. Now, they don't necessarily have to have the identity of the Broad Street Bullies anymore, to the dismay of their fans, but they need to find a reason for why they're playing. So I think when it comes to sports, and you can do this in any sport, football, basketball, baseball, anything, soccer, when you look at the teams that are winning and winning consistently, they have a culture that is clearly established. They have a team bond that is fostered and nurtured, and they have an identity. They know what it is that they're playing for. When I work with teams and I ask them, what do you want to do? Why are you doing this? What's your goal? And they tell me, well, we want to win. I tell them that's what every team wants. Nobody wants to lose. Nobody's getting up there thinking, oh, let's lose today, right? They're getting up there thinking, I want to win. So what is it that separates you from the rest of the field that's going to make you win? I don't want to know that you want to win. I know that. Wouldn't be here if I didn't want to win. What makes you you? What is your identity? Teams need to spend more time to establish things like identity and culture, and they need to take it seriously. It's the psychological stuff here is not just a side thing anymore. And you're seeing this in sports because teams are starting to hire quality control coordinators and coaches that work on this, mental toughness coaches. You see this. So this is something, again, that's infiltrating the sports landscape. It's becoming extremely important. People know it's important that if you want to win, you have to have something in place or someone who's going to help you push that forward, and you have to dedicate time to it. It's very easy as a coach or an organizational leader or a physician or any medium that takes a lot of time to say, okay, yeah, that buddy stuff, let's get it over with. No, take the time, believe in it, find someone who specializes in it, and build the bond. Build a culture, build an identity. Give the people on your team, and I'm using that word in the sense of any team, give them a reason and a purpose to strive forward together. Sometimes that can be created within. Sometimes it comes out of anywhere, just like the bunch of jerks thing. Okay, and again, if you look around the NHL playoffs, you have the Islanders who swept the Pittsburgh Penguins in 4 games, a team that lost their star player last year. Now they're the sum of their parts, and they are moving forward together. That's their identity. We, as a group, will defeat anyone in our way. Now, at the end of the day, in sports, only one team can win. In most sports, one team gets to win. It's very hard to do. Okay, and I'm not saying the teams that didn't win don't have an identity. What I am saying is the identity of a team can spur you to do incredible things. Incredible things to find success. And to focus time to develop that is essential in today's landscape if you want to become a championship level culture and a championship level mentality.